Hello, Davie.
Peter, right yourself?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good.
All right.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there. Lovely to see so many folk joining us so early in the show. Absolutely fantastic. As always, can we ask you to share? We've got some great guests tonight. We've got some fantastic stuff. Thanks, Big Rab shared this in Ireland there. That's magic. We've got some brilliant guests for you tonight. Really looking forward to this. Barry Nisbet from Cullivo in Yale. It's going to be a really interesting chat. Barry's a mariner and a musician and a singer, songwriter, fiddle player. So I'm really looking forward to that. Captain of tall ships all over the shop. So we're doing well. And an old school friend of mine from years and years ago, a friend I've known all my life, Alan Gardner, coming on in the second half. Alan had an amazing dance band in his day and kind of stepped back for it a bit, but still has a tune and very involved with the accordion and fiddle scene, and especially bigger accordion club. So really looking forward to that. I
take it Alan's younger than you.
No, we're exactly the same age. What do you mean by that?
He looks a lot younger than you.
Thanks. Cheers. Yeah, that coming for a Dundonian, that's amazing.
At least I can count.
Well, that's not bad. Anyway, brilliant. So we've got all that to come forward to tonight, and we've got obviously we're going out live on all the Facebook channels, Tunes in the House, Tapping Tunes, my music page, YouTube.
What do you call it?
Tapping Tunes YouTube, and Tapping Tunes Twitter. So join us on any of these, and remember, share about things. Hello, there's Dick Hamilton, drum major Hamilton, and there's Joe Nicholson in Orkney. Great stuff. There's Grace McCall in Colburn. I used to play with Colburn Pipe Band, Davie. I played quite a few seasons with them.
I'm just trying to get through the comments. It's busy tonight.
Oh, that's magic. That's magic. We're getting loads of comments, and they all look like quite nice comments as well. Very good evening, folks. It's Dreich and foggy in Shetland, so it's just really an average summer's night here. It's no, you can hardly see in front of yourself in here. I don't know what it's like in Cullerborough here to Barry when he comes on, but it's certainly sleek it mist here, that's for sure. All you folks abroad, let's hear what's here for you tonight. Let's hear where you're tuning in from. It'd be great. We always like to know where all the audience is. And even in Scotland and England, Europe, it's wonderful to ken where you are. We love hearing from you. So, and any comments you want to ask the guests or anything like that, stick them up. I'm sure we'll tackle them as long as they're nice. That's fine. We're not doing any rude comments or anything like that in this show.
This week.
Unless it's Davie or me. So what have you been up to?
Not a lot this week, to be honest with you.
No.
What have I been up to?
Kitchen?
Nothing.
How's the kitchen going?
It's not started yet. It's beginning next month.
All right.
But, it's that kind of build up to it where it's trying to get everything, all the cupboards emptied, and stuff binned that should have been binned years ago, and things like that. So,
yeah, I think so. That.
Getting there.
Well, I've been back at school for 3 days with the children in. And it's there, but it's still a bit strange that everybody's all masked up and things like that. Kind of, when you look at a class, it's a bit kind of like looking at a bunch of bandits looking back at you. Kind of thing, you know.
Was that before COVID or after COVID?
Yeah, exactly. Some of them it's fine. Anyway, right. Listen, I've done this week tune. I've done it actually.
Before you start, I heard that you had a gig yesterday.
Oh, I did have a wee gig yesterday. Yeah. I did. I was the first time I've played Out the House. Out the House in about 18 months, and it was an outside gig, and it was a wee private festival. The chap was running it. He was raising funds for motor neurons disease, and it was all donations just and things. And Andy Kane and myself went along and had a wee tune, and we had the folk up dancing in the fields and things. So it was quite nice, but a bit different than a ballroom, but very nice to see people happy and smiling and hearing some music, you know. And, and it was at a place called the Outpost in Burra in Shetland. It's a fellow, Dave, from Tasmania originally. So he actually has emus and wallabies and things like that, pigs and goats. And so I was kind of playing about 6 feet away from an emu yesterday. So it was quite interesting.
No crocodiles?
No, well, not as far as I know anyway, no. There's a few snappy things in Shetland right enough, but when they say they were all crocodiles. Anyway, here's a wee Shetland connection tune I've done tonight. I put this on through the week, but I just thought I'd put it on for folk in case you missed it. It's a wee tune, 2-step, and it's called The Ornithologist by Freeland Barber, written for Bobby Tulloch on Yell, which Barry will ken about. So here's The Ornithologist.
You and
There we
your
go.
bad puns.
Do you know something? I just realised there as I put hope to see you again, that wasn't a you, that was a tup. That doesn't work then, does it?
It would have worked had you not mentioned it.
Well, I'm sure somebody would have noticed. Somebody would have noticed that that wasn't a you.
Somebody would
There
know
was-
that you're fleecing them.
Yeah, there was something going on there. Anyway, there we go. So there was some. I even got a wee bit of video in with some boats. There's Bonnie in Wisconsin there. Oh, Barry, Wisconsin. Where is Wisconsin exactly? You have to
America.
tell me. Yeah, I know it's America. But
I don't know.
that was sure what side or what bit. Or anything.
Wisconsin. Give me 2 seconds. I'll tell you. From screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's utterly fantastic to see so many viewers viewing this tonight. There's a huge audience out there. Thank you very much. Lovely. You must kind of guests are coming on. Are going to be good as well. That's good.
It's in the north near Canada, nearly.
All right. Okay.
It's round about near Michigan,
Michigan. Okay. There we go.
Minnesota, and Michigan.
Yeah, keep letting us know, folks. If you join us at any point in time, just let us know where you're viewing in from. It's always fantastic to hear where you are. And the comments are coming in thick and fast tonight. It's, oh, there we go. 100 miles north of Chicago. Gee, it is. Isabel Gardner. See, Isabel there said she was sticking up for me there. Isabel said a lot of folk wouldn't know. And that's Isabel that's down in Caitlin. She's Isabel's a great heart supporter. Fellow friend of mine.
So that's the two of you.
No, and I will bring a third one on later on tonight as well, don't worry.
There's three of you.
There is. We could actually, if we're all here, we could have an AGM, couldn't we? that would be alright. We could make up and do the AGM. That'd be fine. Right, listen. First guest, let's get a guest on. I'm looking forward to this. Young man that's been sailing all his life, playing music and studying in the last couple of years, or 3 or 4 years as well. In fact, he's done the same degree that I did at one point in time, so it's going to be great fun to come on. So here, all the way from Cullevo, right at the north end of Yell, is Barry Nisbet. Hi, Barry.
Hello, Peter. Hi, Davie.
How are you getting on? How are you?
I'm good. Very good, thanks.
You well?
Pretty well, aye.
How's the head today? I noticed there was a big party in Cullevo last night.
Cullevo had a big party last night. Aye, there'll be a few fragile ones, but I think we're all surviving.
Aye. Well, that was one of the bands you play with. We've actually not got a video of that band tonight, but Rack and Ruin, your kind of local home band, and you were doing an outside gig last night, weren't you, in Cullevo? Now, that's brave.
It was a bit of a gamble, I think, yes. We got away with it.
Did you?
So.
Yeah, well, where was it? Down on the pier at Cullevo, was it?
No, just outside the hall. We were on the back of
Just
a
outside the hall.
curtain-sided lorry. We just at the east side of the Cullevo hall.
Brilliant. So I was saying that, Barry, you've been studying the last wee while. I think you graduated last year, didn't you?
This year, actually, I just finished in May this year.
Very good. You've just got the certificate through. That's excellent. That's brilliant.
Saw it for the first time today, aye.
Did you? Oh, that's brilliant. Good for you. Good for you. I done that as well. I left it for a number of years and then done it later on. It was good fun. I enjoyed it. You've been sailing an awful lot of your life, though. In fact, ever since I met you, when I came to Shetland 26 years ago, I've always known about you sailing. What perked the interest in the sailing?
I think. Hi, Isabel. I see the comment there. Fine to see you're watching. Going to school in Lerwick, and I lived in the hostel because Cullevo was a bit too far to go home to every night. So I was living in the hostel in Lerwick, and you could see right out our Lerwick, and you could see Lerwick Harbour. And occasionally, especially through the summer, there would be the big Norwegian tall ships would be in. Yeah. And if there was a big Norwegian tall ship in, there was a very good chance I was skipping school that day and going for a look at the boat instead.
Brilliant. Yeah. And of course, they've been in this year. I noticed the Strats that Lenko was in about a fortnight ago, was she? And she's away on a world tour now.
She's going further afield, I think. Yeah, she was in, and a few of my old shipmates were in on a boat called the Pelican of London as well. And I think I think a few pals ended up playing some tunes aboard her, which sounded like it was a goal.
Wasn't the Pelican of London just in Orkney last month?
That seems likely. She was in Lerwick just maybe 6 weeks ago, I think. So
she was there when we left after our honeymoon.
Right.
End of last month, yeah. Because I remember looking it up on. I was like, oh, the tall ship. Like, oh, is that one? Yeah, that was quite interesting.
Of course, we've got the tall ships race coming back here to Shetland again.
23, aye.
2023, so that's fantastic. Hope all this COVID and everyone's done one by then, and then we can get on with things again.
Can enjoy it properly. I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's this over the third one that I've seen up here, and it's quite amazing when you see it. I've been at 2 or 3 around the world. I was at one in Esbjerg, and then I was at one somewhere, I can't remember where the other one was, but it's so nice in Lerwick because it comes in and it's not that industrial, if you get what I mean. It's not like a big industrial port and things, so it's just bonny.
Exactly. It's the right size of harbour for a big fleet of tall ships. It just fills the harbour in just about the right way.
Listen, Barry, I think we'll have a wee song for you first. You sent me a wee video, Here I Am Again. Can you tell me a wee bit about that, Ian? And then we'll play it and we'll let the folks have some music.
Yeah, well, it was actually a song I wrote quite a few years ago, but I wasn't quite as prolific as yourself, Peter, with the videos during lockdown, but I tried to set myself a goal of doing one every week. I think every day would have been a bit too much for me. But I set myself the goal of doing something every week, and that really did give me something to kind of focus on. So, and it was actually my girlfriend Ash that said, could I do that one? Because she reckoned it summed up how she was feeling during lockdown, which hadn't even been considered when I wrote it, but that was great.
Let's have a listen, folks. Here you go. Here's Mr. Barry Nisbet with Here I Am Again.
Here I am again, and I'm living the life all over, and my body is tired, but my brain is so wired, and I just want this day to be over. And we go on, risking it all without reason. And I'm tired of the aimless fears of the nameless and hopes for a better season. Here I am again, and I'm living the life of a dreamer. But a dream that's got old leaves me feeling so cold, and looking for something that's greener. Used to feel so free, used to be motivated, just moving along, living life like a song, feeling this was why I was created. Here I am again, here I am again, here I am again, here I am again. Here I am again, and I'm dreaming the life over, and it's looking for ways that a man can get paid, and I just want this day to be over. Here I am again, here I am again, here I am again, here I am again.
Oh, we're in the applause. Well done. Yeah, a very apt song, actually, for this point in time, even though you wrote it a few years ago. The words are, you've maybe seen into the future when you wrote that one.
Possibly.
But no, absolutely fantastic. Great. Really nice sound there. Looking back on your musical journey, Barry, you were kind of brought up in Yale, of course, in Cullivo, surrounded by music. The music going on all the time, and live music, which not everybody is lucky enough to have. But was it the fiddle first? Was that your kind of first instrument there?
It was the fiddle first, yeah. I started lessons at the Cullivo Primary School. Margaret Robertson was the teacher, and yeah, she was. We were inspired, kind of, definitely to play for the moment we were at the school, really.
Yeah. And
it's something great to hear you play the ornithologist there, because that was certainly took me back to every Cullivo dance. Certainly, that tune was a feature. So fantastic.
Style of thing. And then, of course, you got involved with the Cullivo Fiddlers as well, didn't you?
That's right.
Tell us a wee bit about that for the folks out there that don't really know, because you kind of were saving a tradition in a way, really.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's a very unique style of fiddle playing. It's a different tuning for a start. We tune the fiddle A D A E instead of G D A E, and the bottom string is used a lot just to give emphasis, and it really goes back to a time when the fiddle would play unaccompanied for dances. So you were trying to get as much out of the fiddle as you could, I think. But it changes the whole tone of the fiddle, and yeah, there's quite a few features of the style that are unique.
Yeah,
there's not many of us.
And the retuning thing is a wee bit kind of, well, it's kind of Scandinavian as well, isn't it? Like the Hardanger fiddle, of course, because I don't know if there's any relation to that or not, the way they thought about it. But,
no, I'm not sure. It certainly gives that same kind of drone, kind of sympathetic.
Yeah, that kind of droney sound, kind of pipey sound, which is quite amazing when you think Shetland and it's kind of got that pipey sound with a drone with a melody over the top. But a lot of the old tunes were played very distinctive, different styles, just from even areas of Shetland.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot less sort of cohesion throughout Shetland in the past. I think you hear stories about kind of the first Cullivo fiddler that we're aware of, Brucey Dennelson, sort of when the herring fishing was in Cullivo in the very early 1900s. And he would apparently, if there was a weather day, if they were all kind of shorebound because of the weather, he would just go around all the huts with his fiddle and learn how they played particular tunes, because there would be Walsa fishermen, there would be West Side fishermen, and he would go and see what their style was like. Apparently he was an absolute, he was fascinated by the different styles. And
yeah, it's amazing, because I was up about, through the summer there, I got asked, I was quite honoured to be asked to go and pipe up at the Gloop Memorial. It was the anniversary the Gloop disaster, and it's quite touching when you're sitting there and then you suddenly realise how close to the sea we are. We can't get away from it in Shetland really at all. And when you look at the history of all these men that were lost in that disaster, I mean, it basically wiped out families. It was just incredible. It was just
wiped out communities, and
yeah, it was just a total freak storm out of nowhere as well. It was just
one they couldn't predict. It just flipped into the north without warning, and yep, they were all
wiped out. With the Cullivos, you played with the Cullivo Fiddlers, and then you've got the local band that we mentioned earlier on there, Rack and Ruin. You guys have been in the go for years.
I mean, we've evolved considerably over the years as well. We started off playing local concerts, and it was a sort of fiddle, guitar, piano, and bass guitar lineup. But it really has just evolved very organically for what musicians we had locally and what music we were into playing. And at one point we kind of expanded the band.
Davie and I speak about that a lot. With the pipe bands, and in the olden days, the pipe bands were very family orientated and area orientated, because nobody was traveling the same, And that's kind of the same there with Rack and Ruin. It's like a local colourful band, basically. You're all there, kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, every one of us sort of grew up within about 100 metres of each other, which is kind of remarkable for a village of 200.
How many is there now, though? There's only about 10 of you now or something, isn't there?
There's when we're full strength, there's between 8 and 10 if you include all the vocalists, and there's 10 of us, aye.
Wow. Great fun, though. Good fun to keep these things going. So when you left, did you go? Was that your first degree, or did you go away sailing first then?
Yeah, I'd never done a degree before, so I did an apprenticeship on tankers initially, which gave me a second mate's ticket and a fourth engineer's ticket. So this is the first sort of academic foray for me was the degree. So.
Okay, and then of course you were down Dundee Way, you were down Davie's Way for a while, weren't you? You were in that area.
I moved there in 2013, and I mean it was kind of life changing moving to Dundee because I moved there for a job initially, but very quickly found I was just in the heart of the music scene in Dundee, and it was fantastic. It was superb. Right. There was sessions and festivals, and we started a folk club.
I didn't realise until really met Davie and been working with Davie how strong the scene in Dundee is, to be honest, because we never seem to go to Dundee. And Davie was saying, you know, like the Fisherman's Arms that he's in the session there. Is that up and going again, Davie? Is it? You started again?
I believe so. I believe it's working on a kind of first come first serve sort of maximum of 10 musicians at the moment.
All right, okay. I think the lounge in Lerwick's working the same kind of way just now. You have to book a wee place or something like that.
Yeah, same idea, yeah.
Or turn up in a survival suit or something. not very sure what the deal is. Anyway, but yeah, so Dundee, that took you into lots of other musical avenues as well, because I'm kind of working up to the next video you sent me here, was Wire and Wool. Was that the name of the band?
That was the name of the band, yes. Uh-huh.
And you kind of play, was it bluegrassy type music?
Yeah.
How would you...
It started as just a group of sort of bluegrass enthusiasts, really, that were just meeting in a pub on the Perth Road, the George Orwell. Right. And I think the managers kind of said, "Okay, come on a Wednesday because that's a very quiet night anyway, so you'll know." There's not any problems on a Wednesday night. And within 3 months, he had to hire door staff for a Wednesday. It was absolute chaos. Wow. The thought would be heaving, would be folk on tables and on. They were thoroughly wild nights.
That's fantastic, though. It's fantastic to hear you song building up with it. What's this song called that we're going to hear here?
Oh well, this was Borderland. This was I suppose the peak of things that we did with Wire and Wool. We released an album in sort of May 2016, and then kind of on the back of that, we'd been asked to play at the La Roche Bluegrass Festival in the Alps. So we kind of just set out for Europe without a real definite plan, and we kind of busted our way to the Alps. Wherever we went.
that's where the Magnifique comes into it all. Then I was wondering,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I was wondering where we got a French connection. So, all right. So was this over in the Alps in this video?
This video was taken at the La Roche Bluegrass Festival in 2016.
Fantastic.
And it's a big sort of competition. They have like a bluegrass competition, which thankfully we weren't in. So we were just there to. We filled the slot between the fireworks and the announcement, and the announcement of the winner, which was a great spot because it meant everybody was there. And,
yeah,
fantastic. Let's have a wee listen to this song. This is great, and it's just live, folks. Enjoy.
Here we go.
Back to back, we faced them down. Side by side, we stood our ground. Underneath an empty sky, kept the burning sunlight from our eyes. We lived a life in the borderland, 4 strong hands. We made sure that where none was found. We dragged the line from the stony ground. It's too late to call you back. You disappeared out of one-way track. You fought your battle and you played your hand. You left me here in the borderland. Here I am in borderland, holding my head in my 2 strong hands. Underneath the 2 big sky, with a road this long, no place to hide. Walk a path through the cinder plain, the echo of my voice that calls your name. A million thoughts through a 2 strong mind. I'm rocking here on the edge of the borderline. It's too late to call you back. You disappeared out of one-way track. You fought your battle and you played your hand. And you left me here in the borderland. All this happened so long ago. Does it really matter? I don't know. I want to get a message to you, make you understand that I'm still living in the borderland. Yes, I'm still alive in Valley Road borderland. It's too late to call you back. Disappeared out of one-way track. You fought your battle and you played your hand. You left me in the borderland. It's too late to call you back. Disappeared out of one-way. You fought your battle and you played your land. And you left me in the
Yeah, good stuff.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Just love the harmonies.
Yeah, happens are great. I never had much chance to play very much bluegrass music being an accordion player, but they did use accordion players sometimes. But when Bruce Molsky came over, I got a good tune with him, and that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing musician to work with.
He's a great player, Bruce. Yeah, fantastic.
Fantastic. So tell me, sea voyages. You've been kind of all over the world. You're a captain now, so you're in charge of that beasts when you go out with them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a third.
So has it taken you? It must have taken you some interesting places over the years now.
It's been very good, yeah. No, when I realised I wasn't that keen on tankers, I managed to get myself on a tall ship, sort of in 2000 for the first time, on a ship called the Soren Larsen, and yeah, we sailed out for Cornwall, across the Atlantic, Panama Canal, and I ended up spending the next 7 or 8 years in the Pacific on that ship. So we were up to the islands and.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So are you taking? Is it mostly when you go with these with the big ships? Are you taking guests with you, or what's the kind of deal with that kind of thing?
Yeah, they've all kind of got their different ethos. So I mean, that particular ship, it was kind of aimed at the adventure holidays. So we would have a group of sort of up to 22 guests would join us for and they were just for all walks of life and for different countries and so on. And they would do like a leg of the voyage, so they'd do possibly Tonga to Fiji or Fiji to Vanuatu, and we'd eventually make our way back to New Zealand. So the ship was based in Auckland, and we'd sort of do a 9-month loop around the Pacific every southern winter.
Gee whiz. Quite amazing. You must have had some good nights and bad nights.
Yeah, some very, very bad nights. Aye, we had. I suppose the worst we had was a full tropical cyclone, which I think we were probably quite lucky to get through. But that was the worst I'd ever seen. Hopefully, the worst I ever will. But aye, some very, very good nights as well. And
having been a musician must have been great for visiting all these places, because we all know when you can play a bit of music, it breaks down barriers and everything, and folk enjoy it. So that led you on to tell me, I'm a session. How did you title this? The Session and Tunes thing, the Sail and Tune.
Sessions and Sail is the project, yeah, and it's exactly that. Yeah. It's basically that same experience that we had on the ship, where, I mean, you can have the best day ever sailing. You arrive at a nice anchorage, you drop an anchor, everything's lovely, and there's kind of a big question. Right now, what do we do? And music is the best answer to that question. So. There was always nice anchorages and tunes and shanties.
It's not the only thing you could do, but it's probably the safest and legal. So
it's probably the safest, aye.
So was that the idea then? Taking a lot of the guests were musical then?
Yeah. Well, on that particular ship, no, that was just really something we did on the side. But yeah, what I really wanted to do was to share a bit of that, and basically just to share a bit of that experience with other folks. So I set up this project about 4 years ago to do the Sessions and Sail voyages, and I work with a ship called the Lady of Avenel, and we do fill the ship full of, basically we invite ideally musicians or people who have an interest in playing music to come and do the trips, and we engage sort of professional musicians to be tutors and to run workshops and to lead sessions on board or ashore when possible.
Davie, you and me could go.
You certainly could.
Davie, come on, Davie. We could go and sail around the world. As long as we can get internet, we could still do the show every Sunday night from somewhere.
Peter, look what happened last time there was water involved with your book.
Yeah, it didn't go too well, did it?
No, it didn't.
My first music book that came out got a soaking on the way to Shetland, would you believe? So they didn't turn out very well by the time they got here, unfortunately.
No, exactly. So we've not got a good track record with water.
No, the container on the ferry was leaking, and my books happened to be in the bottom.
So and was that every copy?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It was a big reprint. A big reprint insurance job that one was. That was fun. But that's great. But so you're doing that. That's one of the things. You're also launching your solo career just now, quite substantially as well. And you've got a few recordings out now, haven't you?
I did a solo album in 2018, which so it's been up for a couple of years now, and I was trying to do a bit of gigging on that basis until the COVID thing happened.
Yeah, that's kind of slowed us down a wee bit, but I think we'll start to see things hopefully picking up a wee bit more now again. And you maybe not get to gig in New Zealand for a wee while, right enough, but
Might be a moment, but aye, someday, hopefully.
but yeah. So hopefully it's coming together. So if folk wanted to buy your album, the best place is to jump onto your website there that Davie was showing us a minute ago. www.barrynisbet.com. Great, really easy one to remember. I can't be bothered with these people that come up with these really fandango things that you can't remember. If you're called Barry Nisbet, what better website than to have than Barry Nisbet? That's why I'd say. Or Peter Wood Music. See, there you go. Thank you, Barry. Thank you for that little plug. So, what was it? I was working up to right. The last one, Celtic Connections. This last one you sent us in. Have you got any projects on the go just now that you're hoping to bring out in the future or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get back into the studio this winter, and I have material. I have a new project that I'm hoping to get recorded and produced sort of in the early part of next year.
Is this top secret, this project?
I'll not say too much about it right now in case I jinx the whole plan, but yeah.
We're always looking for Tap and Tunes exclusives, you see.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, it's got a maritime link, and it's kind of story based. I'm fascinated by kind of old stories and kind of dramatic events and so on. So it's
absolutely.
It's based on it.
Well, this, wish you all the best with that. And when you get it out, you get in touch with us again, and we'll help let folk know about it out there and what's going on. Because the last track you sent us for tonight actually is very story based, and you'd done a bit of speaking. Was this for Celtic Connections? You done this one? This was
Celtic Connections on campus. They run at the Glasgow Caledonian University, so they ran their own sort of series of concerts this year, and it was my last year as a student, so I was still able to sneak in there and do a spot.
Right.
I've played the kind of live concerts previously when Celtic Connections was happening properly, and this was just one I filmed at home and provided to them.
Yeah, because I absolutely love the storylines and the songs, etc. And there was a bit of speaking at the beginning of this, and I thought, I'll edit that, and then I realised, no, there's no point in editing this because you're going to tell us the whole story about what they're going to sing about and everything, which is absolutely perfect because folk there enjoy that. So here, what was this song called again? Can you remind me?
This is Comfortless Cove.
Comfortless Cove, not Comfort Cove. That's a different place altogether.
It was the same place, but that's in the
story. There is a reason. There is a reason. Here's the story, and Barry will tell you all about it, folks. Here we go.
Thank you. I'm going to finish up now with one last song. This is one I wrote about 3 years ago, and I was inspired by a place I was lucky enough to go once in the South Atlantic Ocean, Ascension Island, just there in the tropics where the southeast trade wind blows from the African coast about 800 miles to the east. And there's a great volcanic mountain that sort of climbs up. And it was a place where the British Navy used as a base back in the early 1800s when they were fighting the slave trade and trying to put a stop to the slave trade. And of course, a lot of the sailors came down with fever or came down with diseases and sicknesses when they were on this mission. And generally, Ascension Island was where they would be put ashore to recuperate, or sadly, probably more commonly, to not recuperate. And there's still a very poignant graveyard there just behind this gorgeous bay where they used as their sort of fever colony. And the bay was given the name of Comfort Cove, which was signified that it was meant to give the sailors some comfort in their sickness. But of course, with proper nautical humour, they very quickly renamed it Comfortless Cove, and that's what it remains called to this day. The song is also very much a look at the places we turn to for comfort in our own troubles. So I'd just like to say I hope everybody's finding some resilience and comfort through the troubled times that we're going through at the moment. And I wish you all the best in that respect. This is Comfortless Cove, and I've been Barry Nisbet, and it's been a pleasure to perform for you. When I first saw this island, I was just 23, with a set of brass buttons and a soft rolling sea. We had chased a slave ship, fell by to Benin. Gunpowder still clung to my clothes. We anchored at Georgetown and made our repairs, where Green Mountain rose high through the tropical air. As we sailed up the west coast, we lowered our flag for the poor souls at Comfortless Cove. In Freetown's great harbour, we watered the fleet. In charge of a launch, I steered for the creek. In the shade of the mangroves, we swatted mosquitoes and loaded the barrels aboard. I cried out for Orkney when the fever set in, so the ship's surgeon told me as he swabbed my hot skin. But by 14 days out, I was so sick and weak that at Ascension they put me ashore. Oh, now the light hurts my eyes as I write my last letter back home. Yet as far out of reach as the waves on the beach, as I lie here at Comfortless Cove. As I lie here at Comfortless Cove. Now the ringing in my ears rises up to a scream. I wake with a fever and I see them again. Shackled together, they trudge up the sand, their faces bowed down with shame. And they pass right before me with a rattle and stamp, and I hear the music and their low mournful chant, taking their comfort for the beat of their feet and a spirit that cannot be chained. Oh, now the light hurts my eyes as I write my last letter back home. Yet as far out of reach as the waves on the beach, as I lie here in Comfortless Cove. As I die here at Comfortless Cove. Some here read for the Bible to find their relief. I fear not the dark, for thou walketh with me. Some turn to the rum, and I don't grudge them some air comfort to lighten their way. In the midst of a dream of the wild bushy shore, a wave of the fever comes over me once more. And I feel my heart race, and a rushing of blood, and a whiteness that cuts to my brain. To the beat of my pulse there's the splashing of oars, and I watch as a longboat approaches the shore. One man leaps to the water, the painter in hand. It's a ship full of Orkney men brave. And there's Ronald, there's Einar, there's Harold the Pale, there's Thorfinn and Sigurd, there's St. Magnus himself. And all my pain lifts as I crawled in the sun, and I drag myself into the waves. Oh, and I'll make
one last wish as I'm pulled to the gunwale above. But the weak and the pained, the grieved and the chained find some peace here in comfortless cove. May you find peace in your comfortless cove.
Yeah, very nice one. Yeah, very, very nice. My goodness, you've gone all dark there. Is there a power cut?
It's the light's failing here, aye. It's not that actually.
Yeah. 50 pence for the meter. Lovely song, Barry. Very, very, very good. I love these poignant stories, and when you put it to a nice melody like that, it comes across really, really well. Excellent. Barry, it's been fantastic having you on the show tonight. I hope you'll keep us in touch with things in the future that you're planning. And please give us a shout if any new projects coming out, and we'll help promote them for you. That's what we do this channel for. And hopefully it won't be the last time we see you, and we'll see you before long again. Okay?
Hope so, aye.
Barry, you take care. All the best to you and all the family, and we'll see you hopefully in the flesh before too long.
Well, thanks. Likewise to you and yours. And
oops, cut off. Sorry, Barry.
But he was being nice. He didn't say stuff you or anything.
that was next, I think.
Thanks, Barry. That wasn't me, by the way, Barry. That was David.
Oh yeah, blame me. Aye, blame me.
Brilliant. No, that was really nice and lovely. What great. He's got so much. I would imagine going all over the world, sailing, etc., like he's done. It's an absolute. What a wealthy material you could get for for writing about and things. There's bound to be so many situations you've ended up in and things you've seen that are very, very touching. So it's good. That was brilliant.
We're really lucky because we're going to have a similar situation in a second with our next guest. But unfortunately, it'll be stories about you, no doubt.
Well, hopefully not too many about me. But one thing, as you pointed out, he looks an awful lot younger than me. And that we actually were in the same year at school, believe me.
Aye, but did you repeat it?
They asked me to repeat it, but I just left. That was it. Anyway, listen, here's our next guest. Let's get him right on. All the way from near Biggar and in between, I think he's at Elswick and Biggar, Mr. Alan Gardner. Let's bring Alan on. Hello.
Hi, Peter. How are you doing?
How are you doing? Are you well?
Yes, I'm very well, thanks. Nice to see you. Long time no see.
Yeah, please don't let Davie egg you on to say things about me that you don't want to, because he's like that. He'll bait you.
Where do you want to start, Davie?
Let's start at the very beginning.
Listen, it's fantastic to see you again and fantastic to have you on. We did kind of grow up in a way together, right through the same age group, right through both playing accordions. I think we were about the only two accordion players at Biggar High School at that kind of point in time. We were the kind of odd guys. We were harp supporters as well. That made us even strangers. But apart from that, we turned out all right in the end. We did all right.
Yeah,
but what was that?
We've surprised a few people, Peter.
Aye, over the years, and you had the band, and a very, very successful band, an incredibly highly looked up to band as well. And I moved away up to Shetland and disappeared north. But you kind of wound the band a bit about the 2000s. You were saying to me earlier on, but I think you were very busy with work and things, weren't you, as well? And
yeah, I set up my own business in 1999, and I just felt that it was too much of a commitment to have the band and run a business at the same time. And like yourself, I started gigging kind of mid-80s when I was about 15 or so. So having gone for a 15 to 20 years of playing 2 nights a week, kind of minimum most weeks, and working, it was actually quite nice to take a back seat from it. And I have really enjoyed. Once you stop gigging regularly, it's really hard to get back into it again. It's nice to have your weekends free and be able to plan what else you're going to do in life without having the tie of having gigs. And I suppose a lot of people have found that in the last 18 months with the lockdown.
Very much, and I have found that, and I've got a fairly young family as well, and like yourself, your lad Callum. What age is Callum now?
Callum's 10.
10, yeah, and I've got a wee girl 7 and the wee boy is 6, and being at home the last 18 months has actually been lovely, and seeing them at weekends, and you know what it's like when you went out on a Friday night, they would hardly see you on a Saturday anyway, especially if you didn't come in at 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And so on and so on. So it has been nice, and it makes me wonder about definitely not going back to doing as much and being as busy ever as I was before. I'm quite happy to enjoy that side of things.
You say that now.
Yeah. But it's all right for you. You're young. Yeah,
Aye.
there you go. So, but with that in mind, I think we're going to have a wee quick track here, and it was really nice that Callum came on and said hello earlier on with you when he was there. And this first track, and we'll explain all this as you go along. One of the things about you stopping playing with the band, you've not really disappeared for the music though. You've always been a great supporter of the music. You've been involved with Bigger Accordion Club very much over the years, and you've been adjudicating and all sorts of things. You've been doing all bits and pieces. So it's not like you cut ties and said, I'm gone forever. One thing that my hat off to you, really, really encouraged all these young people to come through the club, and that, and Bigger Club is known as one of the healthiest and a real thriving young club, which is, well, an old club, but it's got new light in it, and it's great to see.
You could say that was a bigger club as well.
We don't use that joke. But well, they used to say the saying, Davie, was London's big, but Bigger's bigger.
And Dublin's Dublin every day.
Yeah. Anyway, this first wee track, it's one that came out in the Bigger Club was very, very active, virtual, through lockdowns and through this pandemic. And you've made an excellent job of it. There's been some great, it's real quality footage and stuff coming out. It's been really good. But this is your wee boy playing. Well, it's the Gardner family. You're playing the piano, and Emma, your wife, Emma, is playing the fiddle. And I was telling them earlier, it's one of my favourite wee tunes, The Lights of Loch and Dull. So I think we'll have a wee quick listen to that. It's a wee short track and it'll be lovely. I'll give folks something to listen to. Remember, folks out there, please share this about. Keep hitting that share button. You're going to love this. It's great fun.
There you go.
Hey, brilliant. Well done, Tim. Fantastic. Great seeing them with a wee honour giving it. Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. Who teaches them, Alan?
Keith Dixon is Callum's teacher.
Right. That's
Yeah.
good. It's a bit like myself. I wouldn't like to actually teach my own children. I think there might be clashes there sometimes. I think it might be.
Well, for some reason, Callum doesn't seem to be terribly receptive to my advice, if ever. So I found out pretty early on in his accordion career to keep my mouth shut. And that's
To be fair, Alan, what do you know?
well, that's exactly the response I get from Callum.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, you do get that. Yeah, when they look at you and just give you that look of what are you speaking about, you know, give up. You know. But no, that's great to see him playing and carrying on, and great to see Emma there as well. And Emma actually played fiddle in my first broadcast. The first broadcast I ever done with my band, Emma was playing the fiddle, and it's great to see you all keeping going. So, what kind of things have you just been working away, and who's been putting all this stuff together for the bigger club? Has this been yourself? And
I know it has not. So
no,
Keith has done everything. So much as I would like to take the praise and the plaudits for all that good work through the lockdown, it's all down to Keith Dixon. He has put in a power of work. Keith, after lockdown, started teaching all his pupils online on Zoom or Teams or whatever, and it was his real brainchild, I suppose, to have the accordion club running each month, just to give people something to give his pupils something to practice for and to aim for, to improve, and also to give the public something to enjoy and maybe to look forward to each month in the Dreich winter months. So Keith really put in a power of work to teach the kids, and then to manage all the recordings and mix it into a format and upload it. And Keith, where he lives, is even more remote than us, so he's got a very, very slow internet connection. So it was taking him ages I think he had to set it before he went to his bed at night and then get up in the morning to see if it uploaded. So no, he put in a power of work. So all credit to him for these.
Well, it's been great, and as you say, it's given everybody something to work towards, and it's kept the community together in that respect. Because it's very, very difficult for youngsters sitting at home just to learn over online. And one of the things I've found, I've actually started pupils in this pandemic now that have never experienced playing with someone else. So, I mean, there's a lot that have, and they've played before and things, but these boys and girls that have never, I don't know what they're going to think of it when it happens, actually. They're going to be like, what's this all about? You know, this is quite unusual, you know. But I think you were reminding me there of one of the first gigs you and I ever done at the Top Combs Hotel earlier on there. And I'd forgot about it altogether.
That's right, yep. I got a phone call from the late John Pottinger one Saturday night that a band hadn't showed up for a wedding at Top Combs Hotel in Biggar. So he phoned me and asked if I could play. And I think I phoned you. You were out fishing at the time. And I got hold of your dad and said, where is he? He says he's up to his waist in water, but I'll go and get him. So I think he drove up the Glen to get you. You waded out the water, jumped into your dad's car, drove back to the house, left your poor dad to cycle back to the house.
but at least we got to that wedding and provided some music. So
That's right. We did.
I think they'd probably be absolutely delighted if you've been let down at your wedding. It's not just a great situation to be in, really, is it?
I think they were quite relieved to see us. Yeah.
Yeah, the one night that they were really happy to see us. Tell me, we're going to have another wee track here. This next track it's through the club as well, but there's a girl singing this time with Callum and Emma. This is the Wagon Wheel one. Who's the last that's singing here? This is
all right. That's Shelley Clark from Sanker. She comes along to the club quite regularly and sings for us. She's a lovely singer, and it was very good of Shelley to spend the time and effort to sing with Callum. She did 2 or 3 tracks with Callum over the lockdown.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, we're going to hear a couple of them tonight, and a couple of others for yourself as well. But here is Wagon Wheel with Shelley, Callum, and Emma. And this is great. Where was the video shot? Was the video shot in Lanarkshire?
No, Shelley lives in Sanker, so she went along to the railway line in Sanker.
Okay.
I think there's words in the track that the train's going north. So Keith he worked out the train was actually moving south at the time, so he had to play it backwards so that it was actually travelling north.
Well, dear, that's very perfectionist. That is, isn't it?
Oh, that's Keith for you.
Yeah, here it is. Here's Wagon Wheel.
Heading down south to the land of the pines, thumbing my way into North Carolina, staring up the road, big eyed, I see headlights. Made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Running from the cold up in New England, I was born to be a fiddler in an old-time string band. My baby plays the guitar, I pick a banjo now. Oh, I know country winds keep getting me down. Lost my money playing poker, so I had to leave town. But I ain't turning back to living that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Walking to the south out of Roanoke, caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long tow. The geese are heading west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee. I gotta get a move on before the sun. I hear my baby call my name and she's the only one. And if I die in Valley, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me.
Yeah, fantastic. Loads and loads of comments coming in there for folks saying how much they're enjoying that. That's really fantastic. Do you know that brought back a memory to me there, Alan, as well? There was a Leyland tractor on there right at the beginning. That was my favourite colour tractor of all time. Bob Drake used to have one up the road, and I had my photo on it as a wee boy. I think I've got that somewhere.
Well, fine, that's when I grew up at Lamington, we had a Leyland tractor, so that's why That's why I bought it recently and tucked it away in the shed. So
Oh, fantastic.
I realised there on that track, Peter, I wasn't involved in it at all. The only thing I could take credit for was the lambs in the background there at the end, the border Leicester lambs. They were mine at the end.
Well, yeah, but Callum's your son as well, so you were kind of involved. Yeah.
50%.
Yeah, you're involved. We'll give you that one. No, fantastic, and folk, wonderful singer, but wonderful to see him. Was that Gordon Smith drummer that was putting some comments on there? I noticed.
I think it was actually, yes.
That's making me laugh a wee bit when he was talking about Callum. When he was talking about Callum, look at the concentration. I don't know if he's ever looked at himself when he plays. He's exactly the same. In fact, there was a picture on the other day. Is it Amy May? Is that Gordon's wee girl?
Yes.
Yeah, and she started drumming in North Berwick Pipe Band. And of course, Gordon was in Preston Pan's Royal British Legion Pipe Band when I knew him when we were young. They were in grade 2 at the time. They were a good band. And he talked about her looking very serious when she played. And then somebody stuck a photo of him playing at the same time. It was exactly the same. Two of them standing there. Brilliant. So it's great to see things like that coming along, you know. So, but you go up and down to Mull sometimes as well. Do you ever get a tune in Mull when you're up? Or?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I go up each year to the music festival anyway and have a tune up there usually. Yeah.
And one of the things kind of attracted you to Mull rather than just the music was the car rally, though, wasn't it? That was one of the things that took you up that way.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I mean, Emma's from Oban. She went to school in Oban and lived in North Connell, so that was part of the link as well. But yes, I've been going up to Mull rallies since 1997, actually. I've taken part since 1998. So
yeah. And is it how have you done in that over the years? Not bad.
We've done okay. Yeah. There's about 150 crews do it, and we've been 6th overall is our best ever result. But usually sort of top 10, top 12, 15, round about there somewhere. So we like to.
Very good. So what do you do? Do you keep the cars up there, or do you keep them at home and take them up?
No, we keep them at home and just trailer them up there for the rally. So,
she was. But you have a house. You've got a house up there as well now, haven't you? Up in Mull.
We do. Yeah. We have got a place in Dervig, a self-catering house, so that's let out most of the year. We got ourselves sometimes.
Apart from rally week, don't ask for it in rally week.
That's exactly it. Yes. Yeah. It's busy that week.
I remember watching a programme about the rally. That's an incredibly serious thing on the island up there. It's quite taken very, very seriously.
It is. It's a big thing in the island, and it's a really challenging event. That's why people like to do it. It's a kind of marathon event, and 2/3 of it are done in darkness as well. So it's a very difficult event, but that's why people love it.
If you had a rally up here in the winter time, you'd have to do the whole thing in darkness. You wouldn't have any option. You get a bleak sunshine for about 2 hours at some point, and that's it. Right, what's taken me up to that, the West Coast thing? I've got a wee track here that I found because I must say you were extremely modest when you were sending in these tracks to me and didn't really send very much of yourself, but I managed to find a couple. And this is one that you done with the band on the bigger site over, and there's a set of Gaelic waltzes, of course. And if you've been up the West Coast, I'm sure you've heard some up there and picked up some Gaelic waltzes. And what I'm really impressed at is that the whole time you've been up there, you've probably picked up Gaelic quite fluently, and you're going to be able to tell us the names of all these tunes. No bother at all, you know.
Now, you told me you weren't going to try and trick me tonight, Peter.
No, I wouldn't. But I don't think I could manage anything to do with Gaelic waltzes. But it's just before we start this, there's a piano intro to this track as well, and it's Richard Curry. And Richard was a fantastic piano player, really amazing piano player. And I think you told me earlier on he lives in Florida now.
Yeah, he's over in America now. Yeah, he was in Italy for a good number of years, but he moved across to America, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe. So that was recorded in his house in America. Yeah.
I always think when you listen to Richard's piano playing here, 30 years ago when Richard kind of came on the scene, I think he put a stamp on playing, especially waltzes. Because he had come from a slightly jazz background, all of a sudden he was using all these passing notes and putting in like kind of slight jazz chords that we wouldn't have thought of before. And I think his piano playing really just it's amazing, and it just augments everything so much when we hear it. So Richard's on the piano here, and then I don't think we see his face to see him concentrating, but I think Gordon Smith is on the drums in this one, isn't he?
Yes.
You can see a tiny wee bit of belly if you notice, so we can it's him. Yeah. Give him a hard time. But Gordon, and then Emma's on the fiddle, and Keith Dixon that we were speaking about earlier on. Keith's on second box. And every video you seem to see Keith is playing a different accordion. He must just lean over and pick up whatever's there.
He must have a big selection, yeah.
He must do. So, but here's a wee set of Gaelic waltzes, and this is fantastic. Nobody plays like this anymore, and you're a master of it, so it's fantastic. Here it is.
Fantastic.
Classic playing. Really nice. Just fantastic. Lovely to hear that, Alan. As I say, there's an awful lot of people don't sit back and just play at tempos like that now. Everything's fast, furious, flying through the gutters.
Yeah.
And to play something like that, you need to play it with a wee bit of feeling, because the whole point of the thing was it was a song from the Gaelic culture that really needed to be expressed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, fantastic, wonderful.
Thank you.
Very good. So the club, when did you get involved with Bigger Club? Did you get, you've always kind of been there, but you're chairman now, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been chairman for about 15 years or so, I think. But the club started in the Clydesdale Hotel in Bigger in 1974 by Ellen MacArthur and John Anderson, and ran there for many years. And so when you and I started going to the club, it was held in the Clydesdale Hotel in Bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember that wee room that health and safety would have loved it.
That's right. That's right. People were packed in, and packed in to hear the music and also to hear Alan MacArthur's patter, because it was absolutely second to none. And lots of folk reminisce about it, but he was a master at his chat, and people he was a very, very quick-witted guy. So they loved listening to him. He had a real rapport with his audience, and he was also a fantastic musician. One of the best. I think one of the most underrated accordionists out there. And Alec would say himself, he maybe wasn't always the most accurate player. In fact, I think at one point he posted that he made the most mistakes of any band leader in the broadcast at one point in time. But the swing that he put into his music, it was infectious. He was an infectious character. The music was infectious, and just as soon as he started playing, everybody stopped what they were doing to listen to Alec speak at play. So he was a great ambassador for the accordion club.
It's amazing when you get people like that. There's a chap up here, good friend Jimmy Burgess, and Jimmy as an MC, it's the same kind of idea as Alec. They could say things to an audience that you or I couldn't. We'd probably get letters of complaint, but it was the way they could say it and the way they put it over and things was just hilarious, you know. And the only person that used to get on to Jimmy was his sister. She would get furious at him for saying certain things, what to take him home. But the audience loved it. But I remember some of the things Alec used to say. You were like, "Oh my goodness, how did you get away with that?" You know. But he was brilliant. He was utterly brilliant. And as you said, the drive and the swing he had in his playing was just second to none. It's just nobody. People have tried over the years to kind of be like him and that, and nobody's managed it. You know, it's not fully. You know, you can get that MacArthur sound, but it's good. But we're going to have a wee listen to a bit of that later on, actually. But it's good. So, have you got any plans for the club for getting back together again at some point, or are you just taking it steadily? And
well, funnily enough, we have been sort of emailing each other in the last few weeks to see how people feel about getting back, getting the club going again, and we're going to have a meeting and make some plans. I think we don't meet in September or October anyway, so in some ways that helps us. We can see how the other clubs who are planning to start in September get on and see how the various COVID rules and regulations, which seem to be pretty confusing and contradictory at times. So we'll maybe see how they get on first, and then if all goes well, we might start in November. I think there's a feeling generally that we need to start to get on with things again. We've been stopped, all these things have been stopped for a long time. If it's safe to do, the general feeling is that we should try to get back into.
Yeah,
I think so. I think the difficult thing is you're in fear of. I mean, there's a couple of the big up LAs have been cancelled for January up here again, but they're massive things that bring a lot of people in, and a lot of the thing about that is the preparation year that they need before it. That's why it's more cancelled than the actual thing, because they haven't had time to prepare. But you're always in that fear mode of if people get too out of the habit, that they're not going to come back the way they did, and they're not going to do things, which might happen, you know, with some people. But I'm sure we might get a new audience as well, and the other side of it as well, hopefully. So, but you have the club on a Sunday afternoon, don't you? But that's a wee bit different because a lot of the clubs are at night time, but the Sunday afternoon seems to work really well for you guys.
It does work for us, and that's well, twofold, I suppose. Like most clubs, a lot of our audience tend to be a wee bit older, and so being able to finish at tea time and get back home at a reasonable time of night, especially if the weather's not too clever through the winter, is a bonus for them. And also, we're blessed with having a lot of young musicians at the club. And the majority of them have got school on a Monday morning, so that's another reason for having it in the afternoon, and then they can get home and get ready for school the next day.
Yeah,
So
great idea.
it does work well, yeah.
There must be some queue at the Chippy at 5 o'clock and bigger when the club comes out though.
There is, yeah. Way up the street, yeah.
The Chippy will love that when the accordion club comes back. That'll be good.
That's right.
Right, we're going to have another wee track here. Callum's on here again. You're going to have to pay him after all these performances. And we've got Shelley singing. Now, there's a lady been watching earlier on, Alan, who has the same surname as you, Gardner, Isabel Gardner. And Isabel's a great Hearts supporter like you and me. And in fact, I think I went to my first ever Hearts game with you as well. I think your uncle took us to Tynecastle one time, and that was the first time I was ever there, I think.
Right.
If I mind right. It was certainly one of your family took us to a Hearts game. Because did you not have Motherwell supporters in your family as well?
Yeah, but we don't talk to them.
But I remember that Isabel's a great Hearts supporter as well. And in fact, there was things like in lockdown when I mentioned it, and she went into the Hearts shop and sent me a new mug and all sorts of things. I got pens and she was lovely to me. So I pre-warned her a wee bit. She'll have to watch it for this video that's coming next, because there's a wee badge that sneaks in at the beginning of this one here.
Right.
And tell us, what's the song called here again?
I can't mind. Is that the Maradona song?
Yeah. What is it again, Davey? You can mind.
No idea.
Life is.
Well, life is life.
Life is life. Yeah.
Yes.
Davey got it earlier on. And you're showing off your other skills as a footballer here in this one as well.
I see myself more as an agent and coach than a footballer now, Peter, at my age.
The money man.
Well, I don't know. I think if they keep getting struck off with COVID every week, they'll be needing anybody they can to go in for a game before long. I like the comparison to the new camp and Tynecastle, etc., and then your Elstrical local turf.
That's right. Mugga Elstrical, yeah.
And I think actually we had Ian McPhail Jr. on there a couple of months ago with Whiskey Kiss. And do you remember the day we went on and took them 5-a-sides? Do you remember that as well? We all went and had a game of 5-a-sides with the McPhail boys. You were there that day too.
That was a long time ago, and I seem to remember receiving quite a dirty tackle from Ian McPhail Jr. My memory serves me right.
Well, he's a heavy. Yeah, that explains it all, you see.
What else can you expect?
Anyway, here's Life is Life. Let's go over it.
Na 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 na.
That's fantastic.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Does he play football as well?
He does actually, yes. He plays in West Linton. Linton football team. So, yeah, it's very keen on his football.
That's brilliant. It's great to see them combining all these things, and that's why we want the world back to a bit of normal, so everybody can do all these things. And there's Isabel. There's your name, right? Isabel's happy now. But it's been really tough, I think, for children, especially the ones that have been playing football and things like that. That all get took away for a wee while, you know. But they seem to be adapting quite well and getting back into it and things like that, and it's quite nice. My stepson, he was 18 for 2 months when we went into lockdown, so he just kind of got into the way, going out with his pals and going to pubs and things, and all of a sudden that was it, nothing. And it was quite difficult for them, but we'll get there. You were telling me another story earlier on that I'd forgotten about all that together as well, about my car breaking down one night somewhere.
Well, I don't think it was your car, Peter, was it?
No, I don't think I had a car until I was about 25 or something. It was borrowed from my poor father. My father gave me his car for all the time.
Well, poor father, poor car, because if my memory serves me correctly, it was a wee black Polo Estate.
That's right. Yeah.
You used to use and literally abuse it with all that, packing all that gear into the back of it. The thing was down the bunkers permanently.
You could get quite a lot into it though, and but the problem would have been it would have taken the gear, but by the time I got in as well, that's probably what threw it.
And then all the fish supper wrappers, Peter. They were
yeah, the fish supper wrappers.
Yeah, no, I think you had a gig. Was it maybe Kelso Rugby Club or somewhere well down the borders anyway? And I think I was maybe doing second box or piano or whatever it was. But I remember when you were driving back out the car park. You reversed over something, and I think it was maybe a pile of gravel or something, and grounded the back out, but it wouldn't have taken much to have grounded it because it was so low at the back anyway. you just kind of remarked and then drove away, but as we were gradually winding our way back through the Tweed Valley, you noticed that the petrol gauge was going down a wee bit quicker than you'd hoped, and we only got as far as Innerleithen and the thing stopped, and it turned out you had reversed over the fuel tank and pulled the petrol pipe off. So no offence to Peter, but if I was breaking down with anybody at 2:30 in the morning and Innerleithen, you probably wouldn't be top of my list.
But you got no choice. No choice.
No, there wasn't a lot of choice. No. That was a late night.
We must have got home somehow.
I think we had to wait for a breakdown guy coming to get us, the AA man.
Oh man, the good old days, the AA man.
Yeah.
Right, listen, we're going to have another one track for you here tonight. This is fantastic. I loved it. We were talking about Alec MacArthur earlier on, and his big mark that he made on the bigger club. Big mark on you as a musician as well, because he took you out a lot playing second box with him and things like that as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I was really lucky to play with him.
One thing sitting watching a player, but when you actually get to play with them, you really get to know them. And you must have had some screamer nights with him when he was in full flow right enough on stage. It'd have been hard to play sometimes for not laughing right enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's some great times with him.
Yeah. This starts off here, this is very clever. Starts off with Alec's album. Was this the Bigger and Better Sound Lambskin it was on? I can't remember. Was that the album?
Yeah.
And the first kind of wee 4 or 5 bars here is him, and then your band take over, and it's very, very clever, very, very well done, and it's excellent. So this is Lambskin it, Jeannie's Blackeen. Yeah, I can't mind the third tune now. We'll work it out at the end. Anyway, folks at home, here's Lambskin it. Enjoy. I'm sure you will. Brilliant. Really good set. Good set. There was I always thought Alec didn't hang about when he was playing either, did he? His tempos were quite up sometimes. They were quite
Yeah,
they were
they were.
moving
Yeah.
along. And but that album, that Bigger and Better Sound, that was just one of my favourite albums ever. That was just, I still have it somewhere. But it was just a great lineup, everything.
I think the tunes were Janie's Blueine, Peter, rather than Blackine.
Was it Blackie? Did I say Blackie?
I think it's Janie's Blueine and Christy McLeod. Is that right?
Yeah. Black Eden could be something completely different.
That's right.
Probably get arrested for that one.
That was Keith's idea to merge from the original track into our own band, and he tried to copy the same arrangements as Alec had used. And one of the things we found out that Alec's band didn't play sevenths; they only played majors. So that was an odd thing that we noticed as part. Well, Keith noticed as part of his research. So he did that. And other bands who attend the club did other tracks from the album, and we did a wee feature on Alec that month, and with Jack Delaney, his second box player from the band. He did an interview with us that night, so it was good.
And they didn't use sevenths.
No,
that would have been quite difficult actually to get into playing like that after you played sevenths so much.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's just a simple little thing like that can give a band a different sound, doesn't it? And just
that's right. That's right.
away. And remember, Jim Johnson. Remember, the piano didn't really play many like single or accented notes. It just sat straight. Everybody did their own little bits. Fantastic. Alan, listen, thank you so much for coming on tonight. This has been brilliant. Thank you to all the audience out there. We've held a big crowd, the whole night.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So I hope you've enjoyed coming on. Thanks to you. You'll have to give Callum a $5 for a fish supper tomorrow or something like that. And,
that's it.
A big hello to Emma. Hope you're all looking after yourselves. And we'll maybe catch you at some point. You never know. You might make it north, or I might be allowed south someday again. I'm not sure.
No, I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for having on.
My visa's ran out to get out of Shetland just now, so I'll have to try and see what I can come up with. No, listen, it's been absolutely fantastic catching up, having you on again, and you're looking well. Take care of yourself and the family, and hopefully see you soon, and all the best for the club as well, and hope you get going safely again at some point again as well.
Super, thanks very much. Okay.
Take care. See you.
There we go.
Very good wee show tonight again. Very good.
Nice quiet one for me.
Yeah, you had a kind of quiet one tonight, didn't you? You were doing all the work back at stage there, though. You were doing all the work. Davie was doing all the comments and the web
video
and
all that jazz. So, plans to Peter.
We'll get 2 cracking guests on next week again. We've got a very overseas guest on next week.
Over 2 C's.
At least.
Or 1 if you go around the other way.
I don't know. Well, we shouldn't get into it. Barry Nisbet will be listening. He'll be wanting to come back on and tell us how many C's. Anyway, listen, folks, that's been absolutely fantastic. I do hope you've enjoyed it. It's been great fun having these folks on. We've got 2 brilliant guests coming on for you next week. A lot of good music coming next week. Thanks very much to Barry Nisbet and Alan Gardner. Absolutely fantastic. Great guys. Great of them to give up their time on a Sunday night to come on and have a wee blather and entertain yourselves and ourselves. Very, very good. Much appreciated. And there you go. Vi was going to go to her bed because she's had a thing on, but when I heard Alan was coming on, she stayed up. Not bad, eh? Yeah. See that. Anyway, have you got anything you want to tell us, David, before we go?
No.
No, nothing. That's it. Okay. Well, there's Barry saying, "Oh, no bother, Barry. It was a pleasure having you on. Pleasure having all these guests on. Great." There's Ron in Canada. I wonder what time it is where Ron is. Not very sure. It's a big place, Canada, you know.
The East Coast is about 5 hours.
All right. Okay. All right. A bit different. Anyway, listen, folks. Thank you. very, very much. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next Sunday night for another fun-packed Tartan Tunes.
Does that?
See you,
Yes,
Jamie. Take care. I'll speak to you through the week. See you after. Cheers.